In a quaint neighborhood nestled on the outskirts of a bustling city, there lived a woman named Hung. She was a single mother, raising her spirited daughter, Lin, in a small yet cozy home. Life was often a challenge, but Hung approached each day with determination and a kind heart. She worked long hours at a local grocery store, always striving to provide the best for her daughter despite their modest means. Next door lived Bac Hai, an elderly man who had become a fixture in the neighborhood. Known for his gentle demeanor and twinkling eyes, he lived alone in a dilapidated house, a remnant of better days long past. Once a skilled carpenter, his hands had created beautiful furniture, but now they trembled with age and illness. Many residents in the area acknowledged him with nods and polite waves, but few ever stopped to chat. Hung, however, was different. From the first day she moved in, she felt a pang of sympathy for Bac Hai. His loneliness resonated with her own struggles. After a long day at work, she would often bring home a little extra food, something homemade or a sweet treat, and knock on his door. "Bac Hai, would you like to join us for dinner?" she would ask, a warm smile on her face. At first, Bac Hai hesitated. He wasn't used to accepting help or company. But as the days turned into weeks, he found himself looking forward to those invitations. Hung's kindness brightened his otherwise quiet existence. They would sit together, sharing stories and laughter, and slowly, a friendship blossomed. As time went on, Hung noticed that Bac Hai's health was deteriorating. He would cough often, and his steps had become more unsteady. Concerned, she began to help him with his daily chores. She would clean his home, cook meals, and even take him to the doctor when he needed. Bac Hai, in return, would share his wisdom and life lessons with Lin, teaching her about craftsmanship and the importance of hard work. "Lin, do you see how your mother cares for me?" Bac Hai once said, a twinkle in his eye. "That's the heart of a true neighbor. Remember, kindness is a gift that never goes out of style." With Hung's support, Bac Hai gradually regained some strength. He started spending more time in the garden, tending to the flowers and vegetables he once cherished. Neighbors began to notice the changes, and they too were inspired by Hung's compassion. More residents began to check on Bac Hai, sharing their own stories and laughter. However, as the seasons changed, so did life's unpredictability. One fateful autumn afternoon, while Hung was at work, Bac Hai experienced a sudden heart attack. He was found slumped over his kitchen table, clutching a picture of his late wife. It wasn't until Hung returned home to see an ambulance parked outside that she understood the gravity of the situation. The community came together to support Hung and Lin during this difficult time. They organized a memorial service for Bac Hai, celebrating his life and the impact he had made on those around him. Hung spoke with tears in her eyes, sharing how much Bac Hai had meant to her and how he had filled her life with warmth and wisdom. In the days that followed, Hung received an unexpected letter from Bac Hai's attorney. It revealed that Bac Hai had left his entire estate to her, a gesture of gratitude for her kindness. Hung was overwhelmed, feeling a mix of shock and deep appreciation. This gift was more than just material wealth, it represented the bond they had formed and the love they had shared. As she sat with Lin, Hung knew she had to honor Bac Hai's memory. With the inheritance, she decided to create a community center in Bac Hai's name, a place where neighbors could gather, share meals, and support one another. She envisioned it as a hub for kindness and connection, much like the friendship she had shared with Bac Hai. Hung spent the following months planning the community center. She reached out to local businesses for donations, organized fundraising events, and rallied the support of neighbors who had once been distant. The community responded enthusiastically, inspired by the love and generosity that Hung had shown to Bac Hai. The grand opening of the Bac Hai Community Center was a day filled with joy and remembrance. Residents gathered to celebrate, sharing stories of their own experiences with Bac Hai and how his kindness had touched their lives. Hung stood at the front, watching Lin interact with the other children, her heart swelling with pride. "This is just the beginning," Hung announced during the ceremony. "Let this center be a testament to Bac Hai's spirit. May we continue to spread kindness and compassion, just as he taught us. As the weeks turned into months, the center flourished. They hosted cooking classes, art workshops, and even support groups for those in need. Hong worked tirelessly, and Lin was always by her side, eager to help. Together, they created a warm and welcoming space, where everyone felt they belonged. Through this journey, Hong learned that the impact of one person's kindness could ripple through a community. The relationships she built, the lives she touched, and the lessons she learned from BAC High transformed her outlook on life. The center became a beacon of hope, where neighbors became friends, and everyone contributed to a collective effort to uplift one another. As years passed, the legacy of BAC High continued to thrive through the center. Hong often found herself reflecting on their time together, grateful for the unexpected friendship that had changed her life. She understood that, in many ways, BAC High had not only left her his material possessions but also a profound lesson in empathy and connection. One evening, as she sat in the center, watching a group of children laughing and playing, Hong felt a sense of fulfillment. The community had come together in ways she had never imagined, and she had become a part of something much larger than herself. The love she had poured into the center had been returned tenfold by those around her. In the years to come, Hong and Lin would continue to honor BAC High's memory by promoting kindness and compassion within their community. And as she told Lin stories about BAC High, she ensured that his legacy would live on in the hearts of everyone who had been touched by his gentle spirit. As the seasons changed and life went on, Hong knew that the journey of kindness was never-ending. It was a path that she would walk for the rest of her life, forever grateful for the lessons learned and the friendships forged through the simple act of caring for one another. As the BAC High Community Center flourished, Hong found herself at the heart of many activities, forging new friendships and strengthening existing bonds within the community. Each week brought a fresh wave of excitement: cooking classes on Wednesdays, art sessions on Fridays, and weekend potlucks where everyone contributed their favorite dishes. One particularly memorable event was the first annual Kindness Festival. Inspired by BAC High's spirit, Hong wanted to create a day where everyone could come together to celebrate community, compassion, and the values they had all learned from him. She rallied volunteers, gathered supplies, and even managed to enlist local musicians to perform. On the day of the festival, the center was adorned with colorful banners and twinkling lights. Laughter and music filled the air as families set up picnic blankets, and children darted between games and crafts. Hong watched Lin as she helped younger kids with face painting, a smile beaming on her face. The sight warmed Hong's heart. Her daughter was growing up to be just like BAC High, kind, caring, and generous. As the day progressed, people began sharing their stories of kindness. A local baker set up a booth showcasing her pastries, sharing how she had started giving away free bread to families in need during tough times. Another neighbor, a retired teacher, spoke about how he organized tutoring sessions for children who struggled in school. Each story was a testament to the ripple effect of kindness that BAC High had inspired. By the end of the festival, Hong felt a profound sense of connection within her community. The center had transformed into more than just a physical space. It was a home where everyone felt valued and heard. She realized that her role extended beyond merely running the center. She was a catalyst for change, helping others discover their own capacity for compassion. However, the journey was not without challenges. As the center grew, so did its needs. Hong faced moments of doubt, wondering if she could keep up with the demands of managing a bustling community space while also being a mother. There were times when she felt overwhelmed, balancing meetings, organizing events, and still ensuring Lin had the attention and love she needed. One evening, after a particularly hectic day, Hong sat down with Lin, who could sense her mother's stress. "Mom, are you okay?" Lin asked, her innocent eyes wide with concern. Hong sighed, realizing that despite her efforts, she hadn't shared her struggles with her daughter. "I'm just a bit tired, sweetie. But we're doing something really special here, aren't we?" Lin nodded, "Yeah. And you're the best at it. But remember, it's okay to ask for help. We're a team, right?" Hong smiled at her daughter's wisdom. "You're right. We are a team." Thank you for reminding me. That conversation helped Hung open up more to the community, allowing others to contribute their strengths and skills. It became a true collaborative effort. As months passed, Hung developed friendships with many of the volunteers. They formed a small group that met weekly to brainstorm new ideas for the center. Each member brought unique perspectives. Some were skilled in organizing events, while others had backgrounds in social work or education. Together, they created initiatives that expanded the center's reach. One initiative that gained traction was the Neighborly Exchange, a program that encouraged residents to share skills and resources. Hung helped facilitate workshops on everything from gardening to budgeting, allowing neighbors to teach each other and learn collaboratively. This program not only fostered relationships but also empowered individuals to take control of their own lives. Amid all the positive changes, Hung began to see the impact of the community center in Lin's life as well. The little girl blossomed into a confident and caring young lady. She was not only making friends her age but also learning important life lessons through her experiences at the center. Hung noticed Lin's growing interest in helping others, whether by volunteering at the food pantry or organizing activities for younger kids. One day, Lin approached Hung with a proposal of her own. "Mom, can we start a reading program for kids who don't have books at home? I think they'd love it." Hung's heart swelled with pride. "That's a fantastic idea, Lin. Let's work on a plan together." With Lin's enthusiasm leading the way, they organized a book fair at the center. They collected donated books from the community and set up reading corners where kids could come, read, and enjoy story time. The event attracted families from all around, and soon, a regular reading group emerged, allowing children to explore the magic of stories. Through all these experiences, Hung felt a transformation within herself. She had started as a woman driven by the need to provide for her daughter, but she had become a leader and an advocate for kindness in her community. Each day, she was reminded of BAC High's legacy, not just through the center, but through the countless lives that were being touched. As the center continued to thrive, Hung decided it was time to honor BAC High in a more permanent way. She organized a memory wall at the center, inviting community members to write down their memories of BAC High and the impact he had on their lives. The wall became a beautiful tapestry of stories, showcasing the love and connection he had fostered. On the anniversary of BAC High's passing, the community gathered for a ceremony at the center. Hung spoke to the crowd, her voice filled with emotion. "Today, we remember a man who taught us the true meaning of kindness. BAC High didn't just change my life, he changed all of our lives. Let us continue to honor his memory by being good neighbors and supporting one another." The atmosphere was filled with warmth and reflection as neighbors shared their stories, tears mingling with laughter. It was a day of remembrance that solidified the bonds within the community and reinforced the mission of the center. As the years rolled by, the BAC High Community Center became a beacon of hope, attracting visitors from surrounding areas who wanted to learn about its initiatives. Hung often found herself sharing their story at conferences and community events, inspiring others to cultivate kindness in their own neighborhoods. The center also began to attract attention from local media, leading to more funding and support. With additional resources, Hung was able to hire staff, ensuring that the center could continue to grow and meet the needs of the community. Through it all, Hung remained grounded in her mission. She always made time for Lin, ensuring that the bond between mother and daughter remained strong. They would often reflect on their journey, laughing at the challenges they had overcome and celebrating their successes together. One evening, as they sat in the center, Lin turned to her mother and said, "Mom, do you think we're making a difference?" "Absolutely," Hung replied, her heart full. "Every small act of kindness adds up. We're not just helping people, we're creating a family." Lin smiled, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Then let's keep going. There's so much more we can do." Hung nodded, feeling invigorated by her daughter's passion. Together, they brainstormed new projects and initiatives, each idea fueled by the love and kindness they had learned from BAC High. As the seasons changed and life continued, Hung realized that the journey of kindness was a lifelong commitment. She understood that every act, no matter how small, had the power to create a positive ripple effect. And with Lin by her side, she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the BAC High Community Center continued to thrive, Hung and Lin found themselves increasingly immersed in the lives of their neighbors. Each day brought new challenges and triumphs, further solidifying the center's role as a cornerstone of the community. One particularly memorable project emerged when a local school reached out to Hung with a proposal. The school had been struggling with limited resources and was in dire need of supplies. Teachers expressed concern about their students' ability to learn without basic materials, like books, art supplies, and even nutritious snacks. Hung saw this as an opportunity not just to help but to foster collaboration between the center and the school. She organized a supply drive, encouraging the community to donate anything they could spare. Flyers went up in local businesses, and Hung announced the drive at the center, urging everyone to contribute. Lin, excited about the initiative, took it upon herself to create colorful posters to hang around the neighborhood. "Let's make this big, Mom. We can even organize a fun day to celebrate once we collect everything," she suggested, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. With Lin's energy leading the charge, the drive became a community-wide effort. Families, local businesses, and even nearby farms joined in, donating books, stationery, and healthy snacks. The center became a buzzing hub of activity as neighbors dropped off their contributions. On the final day of the drive, the center was overflowing with supplies. Hung and Lin, along with a team of volunteers, spent hours sorting and organizing everything. When they finally delivered the supplies to the school, the teachers and students were overjoyed. "Thank you. This means so much to us," a teacher exclaimed, her eyes glistening with gratitude. Hung felt a surge of pride as she watched the children's faces light up at the sight of new books and art supplies. The connection between the center and the school deepened, fostering a sense of unity in the community. As the months went on, Hung noticed the center becoming a gathering place for not just activities but for conversations and connections. Neighbors would come to share stories, seek advice, or simply enjoy each other's company. The once quiet area now buzzed with life and laughter, transforming into a true neighborhood family. However, the journey was not without its challenges. With increased activity came the need for more resources. Hung faced moments of stress as she balanced fundraising efforts with the day-to-day operations of the center. There were times when she worried about sustainability, fearing that they might not be able to maintain the momentum they had built. During one particularly tough week, Hung received a letter from a local foundation announcing that they would be cutting their funding for community initiatives. The news hit hard, and Hung felt a wave of anxiety wash over her. "What will we do without this support?" she thought, feeling the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. That evening, she sat down with Lin, who could sense her mother's distress. "Mom, what's wrong?" Lin asked, concern etched on her young face. "It's just, the foundation is reducing their support for us. I'm worried we won't be able to keep the center running as it is," Hung admitted, her voice shaky. Lin thought for a moment, then said, "But we have our community. We can ask them for help. Remember the supply drive? Everyone came together then." Hung smiled, appreciating her daughter's unwavering optimism. "You're right, Lin. Let's organize a community meeting. We can brainstorm ideas together." The following week, Hung invited everyone to the center for an open discussion about the challenges they faced. Residents gathered, bringing their ideas, energy, and a shared sense of purpose. The room was filled with passionate voices as people shared their thoughts on how to keep the center alive. One neighbor suggested starting a monthly donation dinner, where attendees could enjoy a meal in exchange for a small contribution to the center. Others proposed organizing workshops where residents could teach skills in exchange for donations. The ideas flowed freely, and Hung felt a renewed sense of hope. As the meeting concluded, Hung thanked everyone for their support and commitment. "Together, we can overcome any challenge. Our strength lies in our unity," she declared, her voice filled with conviction. With the community's support, the first donation dinner was organized, transforming into a celebration of togetherness and generosity. The menu featured favorite dishes from various cultures, showcasing the diversity of the neighborhood. Families brought their specialties, and laughter filled the air as people shared stories around the dinner tables. The response was overwhelming. Not only did the event raise much-needed funds, but it also strengthened bonds among residents. People who had once been strangers became friends, united by their shared experiences and commitment to the community. In the weeks that followed, the center continued to thrive, fueled by the energy of the community. Hung felt grateful for the newfound connections, knowing that the support they had built together was sustainable. She learned to embrace the challenges as opportunities for growth and collaboration. One evening, as she closed up the center, Hung reflected on how far they had come. The community was more than just a place, it was a family. Each person brought something unique to the table, and together, they were creating a legacy of kindness that would last for generations. Lynn, now more involved than ever, approached her mother with a bright idea. "Mom, what if we started a mentorship program? We could pair older residents with younger kids who need guidance. It could be so helpful." Hung's heart swelled with pride. "That's a brilliant idea, Lynn. Let's plan it out." They spent the next few weeks developing the program, reaching out to community members to find mentors willing to share their experiences and skills. When the mentorship program launched, it quickly became popular. Children eagerly signed up, excited to learn from the wisdom of their older neighbors. Hung watched as connections formed between generations, with mentors sharing stories and life lessons, while kids brought youthful energy and fresh perspectives. As the center grew, so did the sense of purpose among its members. Hung found herself often reflecting on Bac High's influence. She had turned his legacy of kindness into a thriving community effort, creating a space where everyone felt valued and supported. One evening, after a successful mentorship meeting, Hung and Lin sat in the center, reminiscing about their journey. "Can you believe how much has changed since we first opened the center?" Hung asked, smiling at her daughter. Lin nodded, her eyes shining with excitement. "It's amazing, Mom. I love how everyone works together. I can't wait to see what we'll do next." Hung looked at Lin, filled with hope and pride. "Whatever it is, we'll do it together, just like always." With that commitment in their hearts, they continued to plan for the future, eager to expand their reach and make an even bigger impact. The Bac High Community Center had become a symbol of kindness and resilience, and Hung knew that, with her daughter and the community by her side, they could face any challenge that came their way. As they moved forward, Hung felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. She understood that kindness was not just a fleeting action, it was a way of life, a choice made every day. And through their efforts, she had cultivated a community that embraced this philosophy, proving that together, they could create a better world. As the Bac High Community Center continued to flourish, Hung and Lin remained dedicated to expanding their impact. The mentorship program had been a resounding success, and the community was buzzing with energy and excitement. Hung felt a renewed sense of purpose, but she also knew that sustaining this momentum would require ongoing effort and creativity. One day, while brainstorming new initiatives, Lin suggested hosting a cultural exchange day. "We could invite families from different backgrounds to share their traditions, food, and stories. It would be a fun way to celebrate our diversity," she exclaimed. Hung loved the idea. "That's brilliant, Lin. Let's start planning right away." They quickly got to work, reaching out to neighbors, gathering ideas, and encouraging everyone to contribute. The event would be a chance for families to showcase their cultures, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation among residents. As the date approached, excitement grew. Flyers were distributed, and word spread throughout the community. On the day of the cultural exchange, the center was transformed into a vibrant tapestry of colors and sounds. Families set up booths adorned with decorations that reflected their heritage, displaying traditional clothing, crafts, and, most importantly, delicious foods. Lin helped organize a Taste of the World section, where attendees could sample dishes from various cultures. Hung watched as people mingled, sharing stories and recipes, their laughter echoing through the center. It was a beautiful celebration of community, and Hung felt proud of how far they had come. As the day progressed, Hung noticed a few shy children lingering by a booth. They seemed hesitant to join in the festivities. Understanding their feelings, she approached them with a warm smile. "Hi there. Would you like to try some of the food over there? I hear it's delicious." The children exchanged glances before nodding, and Hung led them to a booth where a neighbor was serving spicy tamales. As they tasted the food, their eyes lit up with delight. "This is amazing," one of the children exclaimed, breaking into a grin. Encouraged by their reaction, Hung took the opportunity to introduce them to other kids. "Come on, let's join the dance circle. Everyone is having so much fun." With a gentle nudge, she led the way, and soon the children were laughing and twirling in the center of the festivities. By the end of the day, Hung felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The cultural exchange had not only brought people together but had also sparked new friendships and connections. It was a reminder of the power of community and the importance of celebrating differences. However, amidst the joy, Hung also faced the reality of maintaining the center's operations. One evening, after a long day of cleanup, she sat down at her desk, surrounded by stacks of paperwork and invoices. Despite the excitement of the cultural exchange, the financial strain was becoming increasingly apparent. "Mom, are you okay?" Lin asked, noticing her mother's furrowed brow. Hung took a deep breath, trying to mask her worries. "Just a bit tired, sweetie. We have a lot to manage right now." Lin, ever perceptive, continued, "If it's about money, maybe we can plan another fundraising event? People love coming together for fun activities." Hung smiled at her daughter's enthusiasm but felt the weight of reality. "That's a great idea, Lin. But we need something that will attract even more people. We might need to get creative." The following days were filled with brainstorming sessions. They discussed everything from craft fairs to charity runs, but Hung felt unsure of what would resonate most with the community. Just as doubt began to creep in, a neighbor named Min, a local artist, approached Hung with a proposition. "What if we organized an art auction?" he suggested. "I can donate some of my artwork, and we could invite other local artists to contribute. We can showcase their work and auction it off to raise funds for the center." Hung's eyes lit up. "That's a brilliant idea. Let's do it." With renewed energy, they began organizing the art auction, reaching out to artists, local businesses, and the community for support. As the auction day approached, excitement mounted. The center was transformed into an art gallery, showcasing a diverse range of artworks, from paintings to sculptures. Hung and Lin worked tirelessly, ensuring everything was in place, from the display of artwork to setting up a refreshment table. On the day of the auction, the turnout exceeded their expectations. Community members flocked to the center, eager to support the cause and admire the talent on display. Hung felt a sense of pride as she mingled with guests, witnessing the vibrant spirit of the community firsthand. The auction itself was a flurry of excitement. Bids flew in, and the atmosphere buzzed with energy as people competed for their favorite pieces. By the end of the night, they had raised a significant amount of money, enough to cover several months of expenses for the center. As the evening wound down, Hung stood in the center, surrounded by laughter and joy. She realized that this event had not only provided financial support but had also strengthened the sense of belonging within the community. People felt connected, invested in the success of the center, and committed to its future. Reflecting on the night, Hung felt grateful for the support they had cultivated. She knew that the journey of running the center was not just about managing finances, it was about fostering a culture of kindness and collaboration. Together, they had created something beautiful. In the weeks that followed, the center became even more vibrant. With the funds from the auction, they expanded their programs, offering new classes and workshops. Hung felt a renewed sense of purpose as she watched the center grow and evolve. However, amidst the growth, Hung was reminded that challenges could arise unexpectedly. One day, as she was preparing for a community meeting, she received a call from a concerned neighbor. "Hung, I just saw some kids vandalizing the center. They spray painted the walls." Horror washed over Hung as she rushed to the center. When she arrived, she was met with a disheartening sight. Graffiti covered the entrance, and the vibrant colors of the murals were marred by the ugly markings. The damage felt like a betrayal, a stark contrast to the sense of community they had worked so hard to build. In that moment, Hung felt a mix of anger and sadness. She wondered how anyone could do such a thing, especially in a place that had become a safe haven for so many. Yet, as she surveyed the damage, she remembered the importance of resilience. That evening, Hung gathered community members to address the situation. "I'm saddened by what happened today, but we can't let this define us," she said, her voice steady. "Let's turn this into an opportunity. We can host a Restore Our Center event where we all come together to clean up and paint over the graffiti. We can add new murals and make it even more beautiful." The response was overwhelming. Neighbors rallied together, showing their support and commitment to the center. The following weekend, Hung organized a cleanup day. Armed with paintbrushes, scrapers, and an abundance of enthusiasm, the community came together to restore the center. As they worked side by side, laughter and camaraderie filled the air. Hung felt a renewed sense of hope as she watched neighbors bonding over their shared mission. It was a powerful reminder that even in the face of adversity, community could prevail. By the end of the day, the center was transformed. The graffiti was gone, replaced by bright murals and vibrant colors that celebrated their unity. Hung stood back, admiring the artwork, her heart swelling with pride. They had not only restored the center but had also reinforced the bonds that held them together. In the aftermath, the community grew even closer. Hung realized that the act of coming together in response to negativity had strengthened their sense of belonging. People felt a deeper connection to the center and to one another, proving that love and resilience could overcome any obstacle. As the seasons changed, the BAC High Community Center continued to thrive. Hung and Lin remained at its heart, dedicated to fostering kindness, compassion, and collaboration. They understood that their journey was ongoing, filled with challenges and triumphs, but through it all, they were committed to their mission. One evening, as they wrapped up another successful event at the center, Lin turned to her mother, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Mom, what's next? There's so much more we can do." Hung smiled, feeling the same excitement bubbling within her. "We'll keep exploring new ideas, Lin. Together, we'll make sure this place continues to be a beacon of kindness for everyone." With that promise in their hearts, they looked toward the future, ready to face whatever came their way. The BAC High Community Center had become a symbol of resilience, a testament to the power of community and the impact of kindness. And as Hung and Lin worked together, they knew they were just getting started on their incredible journey. As the BAC High Community Center continued to flourish, Hung and Lin found themselves more engaged than ever. The sense of community was palpable, and the center had become a beloved gathering place for residents of all ages. Yet, with each new program they introduced, Hung was reminded of the importance of balancing their ambitions with the needs of their neighbors. One day, during a routine meeting, Hung gathered her team of volunteers to discuss upcoming events. "We've seen so much growth, but I want to make sure we're still listening to the community's needs. What do you all think we should focus on next?" Lin, who had become increasingly involved in the center's operations, suggested, "What about a health fair? We could invite local doctors and nutritionists to provide information and resources. A lot of families don't have access to that kind of support." The idea sparked enthusiasm among the volunteers. Hung nodded, excited by the prospect. "That's a fantastic idea, Lin. Let's start planning right away. We can reach out to local health professionals and see who's willing to participate." Over the next few weeks, Hung and her team worked diligently to organize the health fair. They contacted local clinics, nutritionists, and fitness experts, all of whom were eager to contribute their time and expertise. Hung felt a wave of gratitude as she watched her community come together once again for a common cause. On the day of the health fair, the center buzzed with activity. Tables were set up with pamphlets, health screenings, and interactive demonstrations. Hung felt a sense of pride as she greeted families, noticing how excited the children were to learn about healthy eating and exercise. One local doctor set up a booth offering free health checkups, and the line quickly formed as community members waited eagerly. Hung circulated through the crowd, engaging with attendees and encouraging them to participate in the various activities. As she passed by a group of children gathered around a nutritionist, Hung overheard a little boy ask, "Why is eating vegetables good for you?" The nutritionist smiled brightly and explained, "Vegetables help you grow strong and keep your heart healthy. They give you energy to play and learn." Hung watched as the boy's eyes widened in understanding, and she felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The health fair was more than just an event, it was a chance to empower families with knowledge and resources that could improve their lives. As the day progressed, the energy remained high. Residents engaged in fitness demonstrations, learned new recipes, and participated in discussions about mental health and wellness. Hung was overwhelmed by the positive feedback they received, with many attendees expressing gratitude for the opportunity to learn and connect. At the end of the day, Hung gathered everyone for a closing speech. "Thank you all for coming today. This fair was a success because of each one of you. Together, we've taken important steps toward better health and well-being in our community. Let's continue to support one another as we grow." The applause that followed filled her heart with joy. She knew that the center was more than just a building, it was a thriving ecosystem of support, love, and kindness. However, as the weeks passed, Hung found herself feeling overwhelmed. Juggling the demands of the center and her responsibilities as a single mother was becoming increasingly challenging. One evening, after a particularly long day, she sat down with Lin, who was busy preparing for an upcoming art class. "Mom, are you okay?" Lin asked, glancing up from her work. Hung sighed, feeling the weight of exhaustion. "I'm just feeling a bit stretched thin, Lin. I want to do so much for the center, but I also need to make sure I'm present for you." Lin put down her brush and looked at her mother with empathy. "You do so much already, Mom. Maybe we can delegate some tasks to other volunteers? We could ask for help with planning events or organizing activities." Hung smiled at her daughter's wisdom. "You're right. I need to lean on our community more. Let's set up a meeting and ask for volunteers to take on specific roles." The next week, Hung held a community meeting to discuss the center's needs and opportunities for involvement. Residents enthusiastically stepped forward, eager to contribute their skills. One neighbor, a retired event planner, offered to help coordinate future events, while another suggested forming a committee for ongoing maintenance and outreach. Hung felt a wave of relief wash over her. With the support of the community, she could ease some of the burdens she had been carrying alone. As they wrapped up the meeting, Hung felt a renewed sense of hope. In the following months, the center continued to thrive, with new programs blossoming under the collaborative efforts of dedicated volunteers. Hung found herself more energized, able to focus on what truly mattered, nurturing connections and fostering a sense of belonging. One day, while reviewing feedback from recent events, Hung received an unexpected message from a local journalist. The reporter had heard about the success of the BAC High Community Center and wanted to feature it in a piece about community-driven initiatives. Hung was both thrilled and nervous about the attention. After a brief discussion with Lin, they decided to embrace the opportunity. This could bring more awareness to our center and attract even more support. Lin exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. When the day of the interview arrived, Hung prepared to share the story of their journey. The journalist arrived, camera in hand, ready to capture the essence of the center. Hung spoke passionately about the importance of community, resilience, and the impact of kindness. As she shared anecdotes about their various programs and the relationships built within the neighborhood, she noticed Lin interacting with the children nearby, laughing and playing. It filled Hung's heart with warmth to see her daughter thriving in this environment of connection and support. The article was published a few days later, and the response was overwhelming. People from neighboring areas began reaching out, wanting to learn more about the center and how they could contribute. Donations poured in, and volunteers signed up for upcoming events. As the center continued to grow, Hong knew that they were making a difference. It was not just about providing resources but about cultivating a sense of belonging, a place where everyone felt valued and supported. However, with growth came new challenges. One afternoon, as Hong was preparing for a community potluck, she received an urgent call from one of the volunteers. "Hong, there's a problem with the roof. It's leaking, and we need to get it fixed before the next rainstorm." Panic rose within her. The center relied heavily on donations, and unexpected expenses could jeopardize their programs. "Okay, let's assess the damage and see what we can do," Hong replied, determined to find a solution. After a thorough inspection, Hong learned that the roof needed extensive repairs, which would cost more than they had budgeted. With a heavy heart, she gathered her team to discuss their options. "We need to raise funds quickly. If we can't fix this, it could impact everything we've built." The team brainstormed ideas and decided to organize a Repair and Renew fundraiser. They planned a community event featuring local artists, live music, and food, with all proceeds going towards the roof repairs. As they worked to promote the event, Hong reached out to local businesses for sponsorships and donations. The community rallied behind the initiative, eager to support the center that had brought them all together. On the night of the fundraiser, the center was filled with laughter, music, and the delicious aroma of food. Hong felt a sense of hope as she watched families enjoying the festivities. Together, they were proving that when faced with challenges, they could overcome them as a united community. The event was a success, raising more than enough to cover the roof repairs. After the repairs were completed, Hong reflected on the journey they had taken. The BAC High Community Center had become more than just a place, it was a testament to the power of resilience, kindness, and collaboration. Hong was proud of what they had built together, but she also recognized that the journey was ongoing. As she sat with Lin one evening, they reminisced about their experiences. "Mom, do you remember when we first started? It's incredible how far we've come," Lin said, her eyes shining with excitement. "Yes, it really is," Hong replied, a smile spreading across her face. "But I think the best is yet to come. We have so much more to do and so many more lives to touch." With a shared sense of purpose, Hong and Lin looked forward to the future, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. The BAC High Community Center stood as a beacon of hope, a place where kindness thrived and community flourished. And together, they knew they could achieve anything. As the BAC High Community Center continued to thrive, Hong and Lin embarked on new initiatives that reflected the growing needs of their community. The health fair had been a huge success, and now, inspired by the overwhelming support, they decided to introduce a community skills exchange program. The idea was simple yet powerful. Neighbors could share their unique skills and talents with one another, fostering learning and collaboration. Hong envisioned a space where people could teach everything from cooking and gardening to computer skills and music. One Saturday, Hong gathered a group of residents to discuss the program. "This is a chance for us to learn from one another," she said, her enthusiasm contagious. "If you have a skill or a hobby you're passionate about, let's create a platform for you to share it." Volunteers eagerly signed up to lead workshops, and the buzz in the community grew. Hong felt a sense of pride knowing that they were not just providing resources but empowering individuals to contribute their knowledge. When the first skills exchange day arrived, the center was filled with excitement. Tables were set up for various workshops, and the air was alive with chatter and laughter. Hong walked around, soaking in the atmosphere. Children were learning to plant seeds in one corner, while adults gathered for a cooking demonstration in another. As she mingled, Hong noticed an elderly woman named Balan, who had always been shy and reserved, leading a class on traditional embroidery. Hong couldn't help but smile as she watched the young girls surrounding Balan, captivated by her skill. It was a beautiful sight, one that encapsulated the spirit of the community. However, amid the joy, Hong also faced a looming challenge. As winter approached, she realized that the center needed heating improvements to ensure it remained a comfortable space for gatherings. The thought of additional expenses weighed heavily on her mind, but she was determined not to let it impact their programming. One evening, as she discussed the issue with Lin, her daughter suggested, what if we host a winter warm-up event? We could have a bake sale and craft fair, and all the proceeds can go toward the heating improvements. Hung loved the idea. That's a great plan, Lin. Let's start gathering bakers and crafters from the community. Everyone loves homemade goodies and crafts, especially during the holidays. They quickly got to work, reaching out to neighbors and organizing the event. As the day approached, Hung was filled with excitement, knowing that the community would come together once more for a good cause. On the day of the winter warm-up, the center was transformed into a winter wonderland. Tables were adorned with colorful decorations, and the aroma of fresh-baked goods filled the air. Residents flocked to the center, eager to support the cause and enjoy the festivities. Hung felt a wave of warmth as she watched families gather around, sharing stories and laughter. The bake sale was a hit, with treats flying off the shelves. Meanwhile, local artisans showcased their handmade crafts, attracting eager shoppers. As the day progressed, Hung was approached by Balan, who had brought a beautiful quilt she had crafted. Hung, I'd like to donate this for the auction. I hope it helps raise some money for the center. Tears welled in Hung's eyes at the gesture. Thank you so much, Balan. Your kindness means the world to us. They decided to auction off the quilt later in the event, knowing it would draw in even more attendees. As evening approached, the excitement peaked. Hung took the stage to express her gratitude. Thank you all for coming today. Your support not only helps improve our center but also shows the strength of our community. Together, we can accomplish anything. The auction was a resounding success, with bids soaring as residents competed for Balan's quilt and other donated items. By the end of the evening, they had raised a significant amount of money, more than enough to cover the heating improvements. With winter officially underway, the center was now equipped to welcome everyone comfortably. Hung felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude as she reflected on how the community had come together time and time again. It was a testament to their resilience and the bonds they had formed. As the holiday season approached, Hung and Lin decided to host a holiday celebration at the center. They envisioned an event filled with joy, laughter, and a sense of giving back. They reached out to families, encouraging them to bring toys or food donations for those in need. The night of the celebration arrived, and the center was adorned with twinkling lights and festive decorations. Families filled the space, and the atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Children crafted ornaments, while adults shared stories and laughter over hot cocoa. During the event, Hung noticed a family who had recently moved into the neighborhood. They looked a bit hesitant, standing off to the side. Understanding the feeling of being new and unsure, Hung approached them with a warm smile. Hi there. I'm Hung, and I'd love for you to join us. We're all about building community here, and everyone is welcome. The family's faces lit up, and they quickly joined the festivities. Hung felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that the center was becoming a safe haven for newcomers. As the night went on, Hung organized a small gift exchange for the children, ensuring that everyone received a present. The joy on their faces was priceless, a reminder of the true spirit of the season. At the end of the evening, as families began to depart, Hung gathered everyone for a closing toast. Thank you all for sharing this special evening with us. This community thrives because of each one of you. Let's carry this spirit of kindness and generosity into the new year. The applause that followed was a reflection of the unity they had built together. Hung felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the journey they had shared. However, as the new year approached, Hung knew they faced new challenges. The demands on the center continued to grow, and she wanted to ensure they were prepared for the future. One evening, while reviewing their plans, she realized that they needed a more structured approach to their programming. Hung decided to organize a retreat for the volunteers. We need time to reflect on our goals and brainstorm ideas for the future, she said during a team meeting. The volunteers agreed, excited to contribute to the center's vision. The retreat was held at a nearby park, allowing everyone to connect with nature while discussing their plans. They shared ideas, set goals, and envisioned the future of the center. Hung felt invigorated as they brainstormed new programs that could better serve the community. As they wrapped up the retreat, Hung noticed a shift in energy. The volunteers were eager to take ownership of their roles, and Hung felt more supported than ever. They returned to the center with renewed enthusiasm and a clear vision for the upcoming year. As the months unfolded, the BAC High Community Center became a beacon of hope and collaboration. New programs were introduced, and the sense of community deepened. Hung was amazed at how far they had come together, but she also recognized that challenges would always arise. One day, Hung received a call from a local school. "Hung, we've been hearing wonderful things about your center. Would you be interested in partnering with us for an after-school program?" Hung was thrilled at the opportunity. "Absolutely. We'd love to collaborate. Our goal is to support children in our community, and this could be a great way to do it." They worked closely with the school to develop an after-school program focused on tutoring, arts, and physical activity. As the program launched, Hung watched as children thrived in the supportive environment of the center. It was another reminder of the impact they could make together. However, as the program gained traction, Hung faced the challenge of meeting the increasing demand for space and resources. The center was bustling with activity, and she knew they needed to expand. Determined to find a solution, Hung organized a community brainstorming session. "We've achieved so much together, and I believe we can find a way to grow. Let's discuss how we can make this center even better." Ideas flowed freely, and residents proposed creative solutions. One neighbor suggested reaching out to local businesses for sponsorships, while another proposed organizing a larger fundraising gala. The enthusiasm in the room was palpable, and Hung felt a renewed sense of hope. Inspired by the ideas generated, Hung and Lin decided to move forward with the gala. They began planning an evening filled with entertainment, auctions, and community recognition. The event would not only raise funds but also celebrate the achievements of the center and its residents. As the date of the gala approached, Hung felt a mix of excitement and nerves. They worked tirelessly to ensure every detail was perfect, from the decorations to the menu. On the night of the gala, the center was transformed into an elegant venue, with twinkling lights and beautiful arrangements. As guests arrived, Hung felt a surge of pride. The community had come together to support the center, and the atmosphere was filled with warmth and camaraderie. The evening unfolded with live music, heartfelt speeches, and an auction featuring items donated by local artisans and businesses. When it was time for Hung to speak, she took a deep breath, feeling a rush of emotion. "Tonight is a celebration of our community and all that we've achieved together. Thank you for believing in this center and for the kindness you show every day." The applause that followed filled her with gratitude. The gala was a resounding success, raising enough funds to expand the center and enhance their programs. Hung knew that they were on a path to creating an even more impactful space for the community. In the months that followed, the BAC High Community Center underwent a transformation. They added new classrooms, a creative art space, and even a small garden where residents could learn about sustainable practices. The center was now a vibrant hub of activity, fostering creativity, learning, and connection. As Hung stood in the garden one sunny afternoon, watching children play and adults engage in workshops, she felt a profound sense of fulfillment. They had built something special together, a place where everyone felt valued and supported. However, she also recognized the importance of self-care amidst the demands of running the center. One evening, she sat down with Lin to discuss finding a balance. "I love what we're doing, but I need to ensure I'm also taking care of myself," Hung admitted. Lin nodded understandingly. "Maybe we could set aside some family time each week, just the two of us. It'll help you recharge, and we can enjoy each other's company." Hung smiled, grateful for Lin's insight. "That's a wonderful idea. Let's make it a priority." With renewed determination, they scheduled regular outings, visits to the park, movie nights, and even cooking together in the kitchen. These moments became a source of joy and relaxation, reminding Hung of the importance of balance in her life. As spring blossomed, the center continued to flourish, but Hung knew that challenges would always arise. One day, a heavy storm swept through the area, causing damage to the center's exterior. Hung was heartbroken to see the impact on their beloved space. "Let's gather the community and come up with a plan," Lin suggested, her eyes filled with determination. Hung agreed, knowing that together they could face any obstacle. They organized a community cleanup day, inviting residents to help restore the center. The response was overwhelming, with neighbors rallying together to repair the damage and spruce up the garden. As they worked side by side, Hung felt a renewed sense of purpose. It was a reminder that the strength of their community lay in their ability to support one another, no matter the challenges they faced. In the weeks that followed, the center was restored and even more vibrant than before. Hung took a moment to reflect on their journey, the growth, the connections, and the impact they had made. It was a testament to the power of kindness, resilience, and community. One afternoon, while preparing for an upcoming event, Hung received a letter from the local government. They had heard about the success of the BAC High Community Center and wanted to recognize their efforts with an award for community service. Hung was taken aback, feeling a mix of pride and humility. When the day of the award ceremony arrived, she stood before a crowd of local leaders and residents, grateful for the recognition but even more proud of the community they had built together. "Thank you for this honor," she began, her voice steady. "This award is a reflection of our collective effort. Every one of you has played a vital role in making this center a beacon of hope and support. Together, we are stronger." As she finished her speech, the applause that followed filled her heart with warmth. The recognition not only celebrated their achievements but also inspired Hung to continue pushing forward, knowing that the journey was far from over. As the seasons changed, so did the needs of the community. Hung and Lin remained committed to adapting and evolving the programs at the center. They introduced new initiatives focused on mental health awareness, youth mentorship, and environmental sustainability. Hung felt a renewed sense of purpose as she engaged with residents, listening to their ideas and concerns. The community had become a tapestry of stories, each thread representing the unique experiences and strengths of its members. As the end of the year approached, Hung organized a community reflection event. It was a chance for everyone to share their thoughts on the past year and discuss their hopes for the future. The turnout was incredible, with residents gathering to reflect on their experiences and the growth of the center. Hung listened intently as people shared their stories of connection and support, realizing the profound impact the center had made in their lives. During the discussion, one neighbor spoke up, "This center has become a home for many of us. It's a place where we can be ourselves and find help when we need it." Tears welled in Hung's eyes as she realized the depth of their journey. The BAC High Community Center was not just a building, it was a testament to the power of community, love, and resilience. As the event concluded, Hung encouraged everyone to share their aspirations for the upcoming year. The ideas flowed freely, reflecting the collective vision of a brighter future. With renewed determination, Hung and Lin set to work on implementing the ideas discussed. They introduced mentorship programs connecting older residents with younger generations, fostering intergenerational relationships and learning. One afternoon, as Hung watched a group of teens working on a gardening project with elderly volunteers, she felt a wave of joy. It was a beautiful sight to see the exchange of knowledge and friendship blossoming. As winter rolled in once more, the center prepared for their annual winter celebration. Hung envisioned an event that would not only celebrate the season but also honor the bonds they had formed throughout the year. The night of the celebration was magical. The center was adorned with twinkling lights, and the air was filled with the sounds of laughter and music. Families gathered to enjoy food, games, and heartfelt moments. As Hung looked around at the smiling faces, she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. They had come so far together, and the center had become a cherished part of their lives. As the evening drew to a close, Hung took the stage once more. "Tonight, we celebrate not just the season but the incredible community we've built together. Thank you for being a part of this journey, for your kindness, and for your unwavering support." The applause echoed through the center, a reflection of the love and unity that had flourished within its walls. Hung knew that the journey was ongoing, but with the support of her community, they could face any challenge ahead. As the new year approached, Hung took time to reflect on the lessons learned. she realized that the true essence of community lay in the connections they forged, the stories they shared, and the love they showed one another. With each passing day, the BAC High Community Center continued to evolve, becoming a sanctuary of hope, support, and joy. Hung knew that their journey was far from over, but with the strength of their community behind her, she felt ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. As the clock struck midnight on New Year's Eve, Hung stood with Lin, surrounded by friends and neighbors. Together, they welcomed the new year, filled with hope, dreams, and the promise of new beginnings. As the final moments of the year approached, Hung stood on the balcony of the BAC High Community Center, gazing out at the twinkling lights of the neighborhood. The laughter and chatter of families celebrating inside filled the air, creating a warm, inviting atmosphere. She felt a deep sense of gratitude wash over her. Turning to Lin, she said, "Can you believe how far we've come? This center has become a second home for so many." Lin smiled, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "It really has, Mom. It's amazing to see everyone come together like this." Just then, the clock began to strike midnight. Hung gathered everyone outside, and as the last chime echoed, they raised their glasses in a toast. To community, to love, and to new beginnings, she proclaimed, her voice ringing with emotion. Cheers erupted as fireworks lit up the night sky, bursting into vibrant colors. In that moment, surrounded by friends, neighbors, and the spirit of togetherness, Hung realized that their journey was not just about the challenges they faced but about the connections they built along the way. As the fireworks faded, Hung felt a renewed sense of hope for the future. The BAC High Community Center would continue to grow, evolve, and serve as a beacon of kindness and support. With each new day, they would embrace opportunities to uplift one another, just as BAC High would have wanted. As they all shared hugs and wishes for the new year, Hung knew that together, they could face anything that lay ahead. The bonds they had formed were unbreakable, and the spirit of community would forever guide them on their journey. With a heart full of hope, Hung whispered to herself, "Here's to the future, full of love, laughter, and endless possibilities."